Overwatch fans, Sunday is our favorite day to be here in Los Angeles to watch the best Overwatch players in the world. Today, we'll wrap up week 2 of stage 2 in our 2019 season. The Dallas Fuel are back on the scene of crime, where yesterday they dropped a 4-0 on the Toronto Defiant. The Fuel are looking to jump to 2-0 on the stage against one of our 8 expansion teams. They'll take on a Paris Eternal squad that is 2-1 so far in Stage 2. Paris earned a win over the Florida Mayhem earlier this week, and they hope to bolster their Stage 2 playoff hopes with another victory today. Fans from far and wide are flocking here to the Blizzard Arena to celebrate the Overwatch League today. We're here to get you ready to go. It's the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm. I'm Malik Forte, and rounding off the most attractive desk in esports, we got Zoe, Brent, and Sideshow. How you guys doing? Looking so good. I'm loving the energy in here today. How y'all feeling?
It's very nice.
Blizzard Arena, how y'all feeling today? Y'all feeling pretty good?
You did say fans from far and wide, Malik.
I think they're all from LA.
Yeah. Well, no, we actually have some people who travel from Seattle. So we have some people who came.
Have you never commuted in LA?
I have. It
feels
is far
like
and wide.
It feels like miles. You know?
It's getting 2 hours when I'm traveling for 2 hours in Switzerland. I'm in a different country. In fact, I actually crossed the border.
All right, guys. Well, we've got a great show to close out your week today, including our match of the week between 2 Los Angeles teams, the Valiant and the Gladiators, have some spicy talk for each other ahead of our battle for LA. Plus, the New York Excelsior are back in action as they try to remain undefeated and stay one step ahead of Vancouver. And as we do every Sunday, we'll review our most emote-worthy moments of the week in emote control. When the mics get clicking on stage, you'll see the 6th installment of the battle for LA. New York will take on the Florida Mayhem, and either Atlanta or Washington will get their first win of stage 2 today. Kicking off today, it's Dallas versus Paris. The Fuel looked quite good yesterday in a convincing 4-0 win over Toronto. Paris faded late in stage 1 and are hoping to avoid that this time around as they can move to 3-1 with a victory today. But Dallas has a new look here in stage 2, and it's a pretty good one, right, Sideshow?
It definitely is. I've been very impressed with what we've seen so far from the Dallas Fuel. Obviously, it's only been one match. They had a long time to prepare. But for me, 2019 is the year of OG. This guy, paired alongside Note, should form a fabulous tank duo for the Dallas Fuel. I really like what we saw from them. Note, normally known as kind of a Diva one-trick, he really specialized on that hero when he was part of the Boston Uprising and became incredibly good at it. But now he's playing a bit of the Diva, he was playing the Zarya, he was also playing a bit of Orisa, he played some Tracer, some Hanzo. It was nuts. But he is going to be a great partner alongside OG, and it should be a very dangerous tank duo for this team.
Right. And at this current moment, I feel like this is the best the Fuel have looked yet. Now, the Eternal had less than 24 hours to adjust to what they saw from Dallas yesterday. So you think that's enough time for them to prepare for the day?
Honestly, initially I would have thought like, yeah, maybe it's probably going to be a close match. But if we're looking back at what Paris has been struggling with in their prior games, it has been whenever the other team played something out of the ordinary. Against the Chengdu Hunter, that Symmetra kind of bunker aggression even, that threw them completely off. That no answer, they did not know how to break it. Same as the pirate ship on Gibraltar against the Florida Mayhem. Paris completely crumbled under that. So this is a bit of an indicator that they may be struggling against everything which is ever so slightly out of the ordinary. And Dallas Fuel showed us one thing yesterday. They can play out of the ordinary. Yeah. So Paris might actually have an issue here.
I think it's pretty easy to buy into this hype, right, of Dallas Fuel because they looked so dominant in their game the other day against the Toronto Defiant. But in general, this matchup, I think, is going to be closer than some people might be expecting because the map pool in particular is neither really favoring one side or the other, with the exception of, I guess, Rialto, which is Paris Eternals, one of their worst maps so far this season. But all in all, Dallas Fuel, they haven't played Blizzard World yet. That's an unknown quantity. And they are closely matched when it comes to these. And I know firsthand, I was having a little chat with Cruz, and he said to me personally, only me, by the way, that Paris is one of their favorite maps to play, and it's one of their best maps to play. He really rates their team highly on it. I guess it's got that home field advantage. I don't know too much about that, but so far he says, you know, they're doing very well on that map in particular. So I think this could be quite a spicy match, should be backwards and forwards based off that alone.
Nice name drop, by the way.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that, Rim.
Yeah, I know Cruz.
That's pretty cool. You know, that would actually be the first time that Dallas and Paris ever face off. But today will be the 5th time we've seen New York against Florida in that matchup. The NYXL have won previous all 4 matches, all last season. Just 1 win so far this season for the Florida Mayhem, who are publicly undergoing some sweeping organizational changes in the near future. Bryn, What should Mayhem fans expect today against the New York Excelsior?
Probably not much, Malik, I'm going to be honest. This is an organization that we've already said is going to be going through some changes.
Yeah.
You know, they put the Western players on the bench, but the time's ticking, you know, the clock is ticking, and they need to start chugging along with some changes realistically, because their season is going kaput right in front of them.
Right.
They've already kind of got 8 wins over the course of both seasons in the Overwatch League. New York Excelsior are currently on 10 in this season alone. So that should tell you a bit of a discrepancy there in terms of their play, but it is getting into dangerous territory right now because they need to start getting some changes right now with this roster if they want to start getting some wins and securing their hopes and their chances of getting a playoffs right now overall in the 2019 season.
All right. Well, speaking of rosters, I was thinking the other day, wouldn't it be great to see like Sebjolby or Pine again for New York? And what matches will they realistically field such players, which we frankly haven't seen in a while? And then it came to me that doesn't really matter for that lineup, doesn't it? So I thought if I were the coach, this is my method of coaching.
Okay.
And this is how I will determine
red top
lineup.
hat.
Because I honestly think that New York Excelsior, they can field anyone at any time and they still will look incredible good. So Sideshow, you're going to help me here? You're my assistant.
Okay. What do you need me to
We're
do?
not doing magic. I'm not going to pull bunnies out of this hat. But you're going to assign a role, and
Okay.
I give us players.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. We're going to field Nene today.
Okay.
Nene.
Well, I want to see
Nene
Nene.
will be playing.
I want to see Nene on Tracer. If Nene comes out, I want to see his Tracer.
I'm with you on that, Sideshow. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice to see him back at that position.
Next one, Sebjolby.
Sebjolby, he had a sick Roadhog. I want to see him on Roadhog. If anyone self-field him, I want to see his hog.
All right.
Okay.
Next one.
We're gonna create
So
a
far,
master-
I'm loving it. Libero.
Libero. Okay, well, we've already got a couple of DPS
can play
players,
anything.
so yeah, he can play anything. Let's
Yeah.
put him on Wrecking Ball. I want to see if Libero can play
Great.
Wrecking Ball.
I think that's
Give me
that's
Libero main tank.
That's great. Flower.
Flower.
Ooh.
Okay, Flower actually is a little bit like kind of Pine-esque, can play a bunch of stuff, so I'll have him on support. I'll make him play Ana. I want to see Flower with some sick sleep.
Wow, dude.
I like it. Pine.
Pine. Lucio. I put
What are
Pine
you
on Lucio.
building here?
Big
like a
boss,
waste of talent
Big
putting
boss
him on
Pine on
Lucio.
Lucio. Listen, I've got an idea in my head.
Clearly.
Okay.
Jonak.
Jonak. Well, I've always
He
wanted to
has to
see
play
Jonak on
DPS.
DPS.
Yes.
Jonak on DPS would be sick.
Yeah.
So what hero?
We'll just what hero? We'll just unbind
McCree?
his harmony orb.
So we leave him on
Wait, what?
Zenyatta.
Yeah, we'll just
Okay,
leave
so
him on
he will
there.
play DPS Zenyatta. Which
Okay,
he
so
already does. There we go.
There's my dream lineup.
This is working for me. The fans love it.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you like to see these guys play that? That'd be sick.
I'd be down for it.
We should coach this team, to be honest.
Wow, this team, you know what? If New York actually ran that lineup, they still actually might win.
Yeah, that's
funny
the
part to
main
think about.
issue here. It would actually work.
Right. All right. So, guys, another team looking for win number 2 is the Los Angeles Valiant. They'll face the LA Gladiators in our match of the week. And despite their record, they got some choice words for the boys in purple. That's next on the Watchpoint pre-show.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
charisma, and they get the 0 off the board.
You go the distance, you come through in the clutch, you get the job done.
It feels good. I mean, it's been a long time coming since we got a win. We haven't gotten a win since stage 4 of last season, so it's been a long time. So yeah, it feels really good.
I just want to keep it up for the rest of the season so that we have an actual chance to make playoffs. So it's good to get the first win in, but we're looking to the future.
So far this season, it looks like the Los Angeles Valiant's wings were broken.
For me, I think it's more like confidence and trust, because after what happened in stage 1, we all kind of lost trust in each other's play styles and like our communication, and it's like really hard to bounce back from that. Going 0-7, you just think, all right, we just don't have any synergy at all, but after this win, it's gonna start coming back to us. So once we get back on that confidence and trust, like we'll be unstoppable.
And hopefully we can like kind of build momentum off this. And
Yeah.
I want to win. I want to beat the other LA team.
The Valiant are going for their second win in our match of the week against the Los Angeles Gladiators. This is the 6th installment of the Battle for LA. The Gladiators haven't lost yet in stage 2. For the Valiant, Brent, what does it mean to finally get that elusive first win of the season?
I think we can't underestimate how much this probably means for Valiant, because so many teams, they get into these slumps and they are just looking for that win to get them over the hurdle, that mental block that's there and is preventing them from performing at the levels that they knew they could play at. And for Valiant, that was always there. I mean, they were 8 losses in a row before they got that first win, that elusive win, and they weren't the worst team in the league, despite the standings showing it. They were actually a very decent team. They took New York Excelsior to map 5, for goodness sake. This was a squad that had the potential to get these wins, and they always played up to their opponents, but couldn't quite close out a lot of these matches. So I think coming into this match now with the Battle for LA, they're going to be in a better place, or at least they should be now, after they've got over this hurdle, because, you know, the first win doesn't have to be against their the sister team, their rivals, the LA Gladiators, so to speak.
Both teams seem to play up to the Battle of LA as well. It seems to be a rivalry that actually motivates both teams, and I love the history that goes into this head-to-head. So take a look at these previous results of the Battle for LA throughout 2018. At the beginning, in stage 1 and stage 2, both of these teams were still starting to come online. They traded a little bit, but as the later we went through the 2018 season, the more both teams came online, and honestly, the more that the Valiant in particular came online. But now, what I love the most is that it's time for a little bit of revenge, I think, because the LA Gladiators are definitely looking like a slightly better team at the moment.
Those are actually pretty stylish.
Everything's coming up purple in 2019 so far.
You just made the stat much more attractive with those purple Gladiators colored glasses, Sideshow. All right, well, guys, there's more than just a win on the line today. This match is for the pride in the city of Angels. To see who's the top dog here in Tinseltown, both teams think they own the city, and they're not afraid to say it.
There's a big line in the sand that divides Los Angeles right now.
Another battle for Los Angeles.
Nothing gets better than the battle for LA.
My favorite moment from the Battle of LA is probably the crowd and the fans on both sides.
Make some noise! It's time to get this party started!
It gets really loud in the arena. Quite crazy, actually. It always starts with like shields up versus wings up.
I think the Gladiators fans are probably just bandwagoners, but Valiant fans are just loyal.
You either look at purple, which is awesome, or you get puke green, which nobody wants.
Valiant will win in a 3-2 reverse sweep.
Wow. Gladiators come back with a big reverse sweep.
I think the team that represents LA is the team that's won more battles for LA than that's us.
Green and gold, take it to the Maximus. This city belongs to the Valiant.
We have the better colors, we have the better players, and we have the better record.
All of the marbles are on the line right here.
Whoa! Space with the 3K throw. Oh, and there's a riptide to remember.
I mean, I think it'll be like a really close match. I think we'll come out on top, of course.
I think the fans should expect the Gladiators to win. Easy clap.
The number one thing that they can expect from Hydration is to choke like he always does.
KSF in space, they're garbage, they're gonna get rolled.
I mean, just look out. We're coming, bro.
Will it be shields up or will it be wings out?
Oh, baby, Blizzard Arena, how y'all feel about that one? Oh, my goodness, the spice in that, yo. That was a good bit. I like that.
That really was.
I really like the trash talk there. Now, The Twitter accounts of these teams also getting into the trash talk a bit. The Gladiators encouraging the Valiant to get it together for today's match. The Valiant comeback included a pretty standard gift that we can't show for legal reasons. Then the burn from the Gladiators, which obviously came before they got their first win on Friday.
Oh,
Yo, Zoe, how do you rank this trash talk overall here, man?
I mean, honestly, Valiant is about that's not hot, spicy takes. That's not trash talking, friends. That was nothing. So I'm only gonna rate the Gladiators. And the Gladiators trash talk on social, I think I have to combine it with what Hydration just said, which was, by the way, the most emotion I've ever seen out of that guy. 10 out of 10, actually, Gladiators.
Okay.
Keeping it spicy. I love the banter. You have to head over on Twitter and look for more, because there was a lot more than that.
I think with mine and Josh's, we're going to be going for something similar here. Yeah, we got the spicy picante.
Oh, spicy picante. I love it.
I love it. Space and hydration in particular.
You guys
really going at each other.
You guys having flashbacks from eating the wings the other day?
Yeah, we don't talk about that, Malik.
Never mention that ever
Get these
again.
guys some milk quickly. All right, guys. The Atlanta Reign and the Washington Justice are just two teams with a combined 6 matches played in Stage 2 and a combined 0 wins in Stage 2. The Justice have just 1 win all season, while the Reign are slumping after a solid first stage and playoff appearance. Sideshow, is this the get-right match for Atlanta?
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
All right, guys, now I get my question off finally. The Atlanta Reign and the Washington Justice, you heard what I had to say about them. Both teams looking for their first victory here in Stage 2. The Justice have just won all season. The Reign, they're slumping after, making the playoffs and whatnot. So, Sideshow, I'm going to ask you again. You had a whole break to think about it. Is this the get-right match for Atlanta?
Well, I think it's really interesting, actually, that Atlanta have slipped down so far, because now it sets up a really interesting situation between these two teams. I mean, look where they are in the overall standings. This is the season standings, and they just gave Valiant their first win of the season, sat down at 18th. They're now playing their team at 20th. If they lose to the Valiant, I think a lot of the fans are thinking that it's very reasonable that they could come out here and lose again to the Justice. But I think there is actually a difference here between these teams. I think that the Justice have kind of been struggling without giving close matches to many teams throughout the whole of this season. Whereas, as Bren was saying before, the Valiant actually have been putting up okay performances in general, and then just making huge errors that lose them the match. So there's a big difference, I think, between the bottom two teams of Mayhem and Justice and the Valiant, just in terms of like how you would approach them and which you're more likely to lose against. So I think that Atlanta Reign should still be considered the favorites in this match. I don't think you have to worry too much about them being the worst team in the league right now.
I completely agree with that. And Atlanta, you said, they have been struggling. We also saw some, changes within their roster and who they're fielding. We haven't seen Dogman in a while. Dako also kind of disappeared. So we saw Kodak in over Dogman. So of course I wanted to go and look at their statistics and see what each of them bring to the table. Generally, we can agree that Dogman is playing a little bit more forward. He's a little bit more on the aggressive side. Neither stats look outstandingly great. Dogman, however, again, he is going more for the damage and less for the heals. And on the other side, Kodak might be a little bit more, you know, in the back.
Sure.
Sure.
They got
Middle of the pack.
They got a Zenyatta in their back pocket if need be for any situation.
Exactly.
There you go. So they got a little versatility. Now, Bryn, as far as the Washington Justice goes, who's the franchise player on that team? Who's the star that they can all rally behind right now?
I've been liking Corey's play in particular as a player, I think, as one to look out for in the Washington squad. I've been liking his Widowmaker. He's been performing well. This is the role that he was picked up for this team to play on. Is the one that he was most well known for, coming in from contenders as well. But we haven't really seen too much of it. But when he does pull it out, I mean, Washington, they look like they're on fire when they're playing a lot of these damage-dealing compositions. Obviously, can't play that on every map. Sometimes you do have to whip out the Zarya. But when he has been on that role where he can just click heads and not really think too much, he seems to perform much better. So I think it's part of that is as well the communication aspect. You know, he's an English-speaking player in a team of Korean players. So it's always a little bit more difficult to get the coordination working.
Right. But Corey's been looking good. I've been enjoying watching him. We had him at the Watchpoint desk. He was a
nice lad.
Yeah, nice lad. All right, it's time to evaluate the best moments from week 2 in the best way we know how. It's time for our State Farm Emote Control. Let's start with a casual day at the office for our 2018 MVP, Jonak, just taking care of 5 Washington Justice players. No big deal. Just killing everyone in sight. You know, Jonak tings. We're going to go ahead and rate this, starting with you, Zoe.
I'm gonna.
I just threw a lot of
What are you doing down there?
Anyway, I go with the seat because tell me something new.
Yeah.
That's just a Jonak thing to do.
Tell me something new. You're just not impressed?
Yeah.
What?
No, I'm always impressed with him, but you know that kind of.
Farming the team down at the bottom of the table.
Give me the bless RNGs in the chat.
All right, next. We're going to keep it moving. The players in the league practice so hard and spend so much time together. It's really mind-blowing that they can't get the handshakes right. This is the Dallas Fuel version. We show these every week, but every week somehow they get more worse than they were the week before. What's going on with that? Give me the emotes, guys. Show me what you got.
Well, there's a reason these guys play esports and not traditional sports, I think, because their hand-eye coordination is utterly tragic by the look of it.
Well, it's a good thing as well that their in-game performance is a little bit better than that.
It certainly is, yeah. It is brutal.
Fail fishes.
All right, moving along. Here's Baby Babe dropping the Graviton Surge into this little wall on Busan. I think he just wanted to test the structural integrity here, and the wall holds up pretty well. But Tusk waits of an ult there, Baby Babe. What do we get?
Don't worry, it was just a zoning ult.
Yeah, creative angles.
Baby Babe, it's a baby rage, I think. You know, he's like, team, what's going on?
Why didn't you lure them into it?
Please.
Why did you boop them into it?
Baby Ray doesn't sound like that. I'm just putting on a voice for him.
All right, guys, last one. Okay, we know these are long days here at the Overwatch League, but come on, guy, wake up, bro. The ref is literally sleeping, standing up. It's actually impressive, but a little bit pathetic because it's work, you know. I want to sleep on the job. Really, though. What are we giving this, guys?
I respect it.
I love it.
You love ability to
We don't know
sleep
if
on the
he's
fly.
Have you never rested your eyes?
It's got to be the resident sleepers in the chat. Like, I respect it. Sleeping standing up, that's difficult.
It really is.
It's a hard trait to have.
A wise man once told me, always be napping. And guys, that's been State Farm's Emote Control. We are less than 10 minutes away from the baddest Overwatch players on the planet taking the stage. Who's going to win today? We'll tell you next on the Watchpoint Pre-Show.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Check out the Dallas Fuel playing some of the best Overwatch that they have since they've been a team here in the Overwatch League. How good are they, though? We're getting ready to find out against the Paris Eternal, another team that's been looking pretty good so far as well. But this is going to be a tough test for them, and we're going to find out if they really are for real, though. Now it's time for our predictions this Sunday. Brent is taking his own way with Paris over Dallas, as well as the Washington Justice over Atlanta. All three analysts are lock and step on New York over Florida and the Gladiators over the Valiant in our match of the week. Oh, the Blizzard Arena does not like that. Brent, crack up your Washington pick against Sideshow in a 30-second face-off. Go.
I can see even the producers think it's a dumb pick because they chose Atlanta Reign for you.
I did actually, I did end up picking up Washington again. I wish I could talk, but the LA crowd have currently drowned out my voice. But genuinely, Atlanta, they've been on a downward spiral right now. Going forward and forward, straight down into the pits of despair.
Yeah. You have to,
Justice, they looked all right.
You have to tunnel a bit, I think, to get down to the level where they'd end up losing.
Possibly, maybe. But listen, Josh, you got to have faith in these teams. I'm like a kindly old man that takes in animals, orphans, stuff like that. And I like to take in...
Brent, you're out of time. You're out of time, guys. That does it for the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm. Blizzard Arena, make some noise. And everyone at home, enjoy the matches.